What's that? 457 Activated mornings on WEFM 99.9 and on.
And good morning again to everybody, and we are here with you for today's Activated Mornings program. In studio, you have Dianna and Cain, myself, Roleza, and already on the line, we have Mr. Kingsley DeFreitas. So good morning to you, Kingsley.
My apologies for yesterday if I couldn't make it yesterday. I want to ask you, did you pay attention to the assignment?
I was in and out of it. I didn't pay attention to everything in full detail.
Did you think to the conclusion based on what you heard?
I came to a conclusion. I wanted to say, Tanya. I found that it went very smoothly, but yeah, let me leave that alone. It went smoothly this round.
Well, I want to check this. The reason why is the question segment that you have and a question was asked to the honorable acting prime minister. And I found him to be an immature answer because he was asked a question related to the construction of a wall in Berkeley. And he said, like, he spoke through the issue of where the walls are completed and the minister asked, remember, he asked the minister a question. And he said, the relation back to the identity. And I often wonder, who is the minister responsible for Baxter and the minister responsible for work and that so? Is the honorable longer than else? And I was disappointed in you answer the question when you start cut them off like that. Because you ask me questions and this that. But I got into the room and I said, so what is the honorable Minister of Finance in the way he answers questions and more importantly, he spoke an amendment of the Academy to Parliament. And I look at him and I say, that the Gonzales that in the Parliament Silicon University. And I say, all is well with the future of the university in terms of members of Parliament making a strong presentation and it was based on fact because he repeated that he was reading the answer, so that shows that he can recall to get the answer. And I said to myself, when this is done, look at Cameron. The advocate of young man, he's taking his job seriously. And if I were the advocate, I do the comparison with Sherlock, I would say that the university was placed with Cameron goes back. The man demonstrates ability, he demonstrates that he has what it takes to be a good elected parliamentarian. And I believe that what the young folks reasonably that when he used to do a wonderful job. So I came out after the simple parliament that all is well with the issue of Cameron goes back. I'm not sure if he was the more leader. But there was a few one time when people were saying to move the season with Suspiria and contract. But from that celebration in the victory, I no longer consider to move the season as this station because when I look at Cameron, and I saw the presentation, I said this young man is poised to do a wonderful job. And I'm hoping that people take it seriously. I understand and I strengthen them to the cross of the media and major later. And if you come over past like how it comes over when Dr. Gonzales is in Paris. So I felt really accomplished when I was to Canada and I was to take it up as young people which I think I did a wonderful job. And all is well in terms of Canada coming against this. controversy. When you always talk about, that's what yes, I was born at work, but I'm living in East. And if I have to base and recommend this move for the candidate of trust, the candidate of trust should demonstrate the ability to come and run down. And that's my take for today. And I have a wonderful day. See how many people are more and better now, okay?
All right, Kingsley, have a good one.
All right. I appreciate it.
And that was Kingsley with his commentary for today. And I sent Dianna for Camilo Gonzalez, all right? All right, so before I say anything further with regards to that, again, just good morning to everybody. And we are here with you for another Wednesday. And just to note, in terms of our lineup for this morning, we will be conducting an interview at 8 to 10 with IPA, Granby IPA Constance, and Robert Patches King with regards to Calypso. Theme Calypso then, now, and where it's headed. All right, so you want to stay tuned for that. And coming up at 9:20, we have an interview with NCTI. All right, so Dianna, good morning to you.
Good morning. Hello, Roleza. Hello, everyone listening to us at this time. Look at you starting off your day with WEFM, having a great day, I am sure. Somebody probably listening and be thinking, what is this girl know? I text right now when you're talking about having a good mood. But once you're listening to WEFM Accident Mornings with Roleza and Dianna, you ought to be in a good mood. So, let's go.
All right.
So you said I interview with NCTI, it's actually NCRC.
Oh, NCR. Yeah. NCRC, all right, thanks. All right, so any thoughts with regards to what Kingsley said?
I find it interesting, that the other day Kingsley came and he was giving commendations to the older Gonzales, this morning he's giving some commendations to the younger Gonzales. Kingsley boy, your father was probably wondering what's going on. But I just find it interesting. That's just that.
That's it. Yeah. All right. So I've expressed this before here that I do like to listen to Camilo when younger Gonzalez, Camilo Gonzalez, so somebody say, why? Because they call him Camilo, right? So Minister Gonzalez, Camilo Gonzalez, right? I do love to hear when he speaks because he's one of those persons who's able to grab my attention, right? His delivery, his interjection of humor, the little jabs that he would try to, like jabs that he would introduce in his speech is commendable, right? But one of the things that I've always been able to marvel with is his training is that of a lawyer. And I'm always impressed by the fact that as a minister of finance, in terms of his delivery, in terms of the information that he shares, the way in which he's able to answer questions quickly, from an economic standpoint, to me that is always interesting. Like as I was listening to the Parliament, I think I was driving home at the time, and I was like, boy, I could never become a minister because I listened to the exchange between him and Minister Leacock, right? MP Leacock. And I am there like, they're talking about certain terms. Now, yes, what it is I did accounting, I hated it with a passion, right? So what it is that I did accounting, the way in which they were going back and forth, and I would say like, but if I had to sit down in this Parliament, everything would have just been going over my head, like, floop, floop, straight over my head. But, Camilo has been able to stand his own. He has been able to respond. He has been able to go head to head with MP Leacock, even though I think they disagreed on some term or some method of accounting, they disagreed with something, but I do enjoy hearing him. And as I've always said, I think that yes, as a minister, he is a good one, but I've always questioned whether or not he actually wants to be prime minister. There are many persons who you don't have a problem with being in whatever position that you are in, right? But to take up a quote-unquote managerial position, you don't want it because it comes with a lot more work, right? So I don't know. I really don't know where Camilo Gonzalez stands with regards to wanting to be prime minister. If it is his aspiration, but currently as the Minister of Finance, I don't have anything negative to say with regards to him in terms of his current role. So yeah.
I've the son of Ralph Everett Gonzalez. You better be on it, you know. So when I look at him and I see these things that you've mentioned, I think, boy, you know, I kind of think we should expect that from you because with Ralph as your daddy,
but then why? And I always have a problem with parents who think like that. Not that I'm saying that the PM thinks like that, but parents who think that just because they have achieved this, or let's say especially in a business context, because a parent has been able to start a business, their expectation is that their child should carry on the business. And to me, it's wrong, right? Because while it says that this is your passion, this is what you want to do, this is what you wanted to do for your life, you should not place the same expectation necessarily on your child. So.
True, I wasn't talking about that part. I was talking about the way he speaks, the way he carries himself.
Okay.
That was because I mean, do we say
4 minutes?
Probably, all right. So as you what I was saying, right? So the way you carry yourself, eyes are on you because we know that you are the son of Ralph Gonzalez. And if you talk about Ralph Gonzalez, you know, people will speak about his leadership, how long he's been in power, certain characteristics that he has, the things that make him Ralph Gonzalez. And persons are going to be looking at his son to see, and because he's the prime minister, you know, we're scrutinizing him. If you're not in support of his party, you're scrutinizing him extra in a different kind of way. So you're definitely going to be looking at his son and saying, Ralph's son, and can you talk good? You know, especially when your father is such a great speaker. Yeah.
True. But I mean, that's why for me it's always so difficult. I empathize with children of politicians and preachers, right? Because these children are placed on such a pedestal that society, so many eyes around them, you know, like in an ordinary society. You and I could just go about, you know, if we get into an argument with somebody down the road, nobody cares, right? But if it is a case for a child of a politician or a preacher's child, you know, that eyes, literally hundreds of eyes could be on them and placing them on this pedestal where there is this expectation of perfection. And I feel it for them. I've always felt it for them. Yeah. So.
I see somebody else say there was a feedback in the microphone. I don't know if that is still happening.
All right. So I have no idea because on our end everything seems to be okay. This is the usual challenge when we are good in here, but on the stream it's a little bit different. All right. All right. So we're going to have that address. Yeah. What was I going to say? Right. So it's left to be seen what happens. As the PM has indicated, this next general election would be his last round. As far as I'm concerned, since nobody has asked for my opinion, but I'm sharing it anyway. There should have been some succession planning in place already, right? While it is, yes, the PM and maybe supporters and those who are, you know, may want to see the PM run back, for me, by this time, a designated person should have already been elected after. I would even said after 15 years, but okay, let's say 20, right? But it's left to be seen who would take over as leader of the ULP and possible potential leader of the country, all right, from the ULP camp. All right, so we were not going to go into the topic that we had scheduled. We could always pick that up another day. But I just want to say hail up to a few persons. To Neil from Paul's Lot. Now, it's interesting because I met Neil on Friday, and he shared something that was interesting with me. And I always say, you know, sometimes when we speak on air, persons form an opinion. So he shared his opinion with me on Friday. And I had to chuckle, but I would talk to him again next time and say, is it really what you thought? You know, but anyhow. So I want to say good morning. But I assume you're from Paul's Lot, Neil, because that's where I was normally see you, right? So good morning to Neil. He said he waited to hear us since Monday. All right, and good morning to the guy who I met at Lotto on Monday as well, and to the Grace family, my former neighbors in Bookament. Good morning to all of you. All right. And with that, we are going to head on out after this time. Remember that at 8:10, we'll be bringing to you an interview with Ifa and Patches regarding Calypso here in SBG.